I wish there was a thing like with StreamYard to tell you when you actually go live. It would make it make a lot more sense. But hi, everybody. Welcome to Sci-Fi Vision for 6. We're going to be talking about the 4th episode of Walking Dead Dead City tonight. And I got the pictures fixed, and I see I am getting double feedback. I don't know if that's from mine or yours. Well, if anybody, if you hear double audio, please tell us and let us know. I only heard it for a second, so maybe it's doing okay. We'll hope. Yeah. So this time I have both open. I can see both things moving, so it should be. It just might, there's a chance it'll be double, but we'll find out. But anyway, so what did you think of this episode? And by the way, everybody, I should say before we start, I always forget my intro. If you haven't, please make sure that you join our Discord for information on our watch parties and all that kind of good stuff. And because we have them every Monday before we do this show. And here, I'll put the link in. Sorry about that. So please make sure you join if you haven't. And then stick around after this, because at 11 o'clock we'll be in Discord doing a Murderbot watch party. And then at midnight we have Midnight Murderbot. So yeah, lots of stuff. Well, so... Oh, great. Okay, great. Yeah. Well, okay, I don't have to say that then. That's what I was just about to say. All right, yes, check out Laurie's channel. All right, well, let's get started. Let me ask you, I know you're going to be reviewing it more, but what did you think about this episode? Yeah, no, I agree. And I did like this episode, and I do like Kim Coates Bruegel in this. I agree. I love his costumes too. They're great. Um, but yeah, Maggie, the thing is that I feel like Maggie and Negan aren't the main characters in this season so much. Do you feel like that? I've been feeling like that. And I'd like to see more of them. And it kind of stinks that it took this long to get a scene with them together. But at least we finally did, even if it didn't maybe go so well, we got to at least see them together in this. Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously it's for show, but she doesn't know that. So you're 100% right. I agree with that. All right, I'm trying to, I did get the chat working. If anybody puts anything in the chat, it should pop up because my chat came up. So at least something's going right today. Yay. But anyway, so I'm just worried. I hope we're not getting double audio, but since nobody said anything, yeah, the controls are just a little weird. So when we start out, we get this picture. I don't know if this is supposed to in some way reference her rat or not. I find it kind of interesting that it's rats that he feeds this guy. It's like they eat rats for dinner, and obviously the Dama has a pet rat, so that was a little weird. But yeah, we see him feeding this to I don't have his name, I don't think, till the end. The guy who used to be his, let me see, I have it in the bottom, I think. Tony, who used to be his bodyguard. And we think that it's a walker at this point. We don't realize that it's not. Um, and we can talk more about that obviously when we get to the end. But he's got this person, this walker, whatever, chained up that he's using for these fights that he keeps winning constantly. And yeah, he's keeping him there in his in his museum. So that's a little bit strange. But so we get that, and then we flip to Dama and Negan and Croat, and they have also have Pierce in the trunk, and that they're coming up to the museum, which is the Metropolitan, which is where Bruegel is staying. And the Croat doesn't think that they actually need Bruegel, but she knows that to go up against New Babylon, they need more people to win the war. And she wants to talk him into it, but she does smartly tell Negan, they're pulling Pierce out of the trunk, tell Negan that for him to basically rein him in, because I think she knows the Croat is not going to listen. So yeah, yeah. Which with him, I'm not surprised that she should feel like that. But she does also threaten Negan's family again there a little bit to make sure that he listens there. So let's see. So they're going into the museum. Let me see. Okay, so then we go to Maggie and Armstrong, Pearlie. I don't know. Sometimes I call him Pearlie. Other times I call him Armstrong. And they're talking about what happened before a little bit, and about with Negan. And she talks about how she traded him, and um, obviously Herschel did admit that he's seen Negan. That they've told Pearlie as well. But the only thing he cares about is the methane location. And they're hoping that Negan will tell him where it's at. And, she does bring up, isn't Navarre's going to have a problem when she finds out Negan's alive, which we know is going to happen. And he just sort of brushes off like, oh, I'll take care of it. It'll be fine. And Herschel does tell them also that he found the gun in Ginny's bag, but they decide to keep it between them. So but yeah, they're going to go to the museum. I don't know if I have it here or not, but at one point they see it with binoculars, and that's how they know to go there. But I don't think that's yet. I think that's later. All right, so at the museum. So I thought this was really cool that they this at the museum. I mean, and I remember him talking about this at the well, them talking about, I should say, but I'm specifically remembering Kim Coates talk about filming this in the museum, and that he got to stay there for a while, and so that was pretty cool. Yeah, I believe it was the Met. I know they're really at the museum, but I'm pretty sure he had said it was really the Met. I'd have to go back and that interview is up at sci. Of the outside, I don't know. Let me see. I don't think I do, just because of the ones that I happen to take. No, just yeah, no, it does. It does. It looks cool. But he's kind of the big man in this place. He's running the whole museum, and you do find out too that he won the museum in one of these Walker fights from that Christoph. So that's kind of an important thing. I'm trying to make sure I have my chat open here so I can see it. Sorry. And they've come and they're kind of like, if you join our side, we'll give you some methane, a little bit of methane, but some methane. And I don't think the Croat enjoys having to offer him anything. Mhm. He's like, oh, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. But yeah, he's a little sarcastic there about it. There, I was making no, he doesn't. Right. But the Dama is all for it, and they kind of have talk a little bit about the Goya painting that he sent before to her. So yeah, they're going to come to some kind of agreement, but first he's going to give them a tour of the museum. Um, it's obvious that he really enjoys showing this off too. or showing off his museum, I mean, and showing off how much money and everything else that he has. Can you? Okay, my camera went off a second. I was like, can you still see me? I lost everything there for a second. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, he's definitely showing off, and that I think pisses the Croat off, even more because he doesn't have anything, and he wants to be the big dog, and that's why he kind of makes it like, I mean, the methane. I don't know, I can't remember. Maybe he did come up with the idea, but he really acts like this is all his, and sometimes I think forgets that he's part of a group. I'm sort of surprised. Did. That's what I thought. But I'm sometimes sort of surprised that she doesn't say anything to him. I guess she just kind of lets Negan take care of it. She doesn't want to get on his bad side. Is the idea. There's you can see the whole view of the Met there. So then we go very briefly back to Maggie and Pearlie and Negan again, or not Negan, Herschel again, and she's basically telling Ginny to stay there. There's not a whole lot in this scene. It's just a tiny little bit. Uh, oh wait, is that where she tells him to leave? No, I'm sorry. There's also this part's important. That woman, and I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. Do you remember her name? I don't have it written down. Okay. Well, she does tell them that the people have left the park where they were looking for him, and so they're at the museum now. And she's like, "So it's time for you guys to go, like we agreed." And I think that Maggie and Pearlie are fine with leaving. Navarez, I don't know. We'll kind of see what happens there, but that was kind of the agreement they made, that they would keep him safe as long as they took off. And feel free to, of course, jump in here if I go too fast. But yeah, there's Ginny. She's going to stay behind. She agrees to. And then back to the museum, he's giving this tour, and all of them are completely bored out of their minds, which I think is really funny because he's just like, "Oh, this is so great, and this painting was worth $15.3 million it sold for," and oh, but no one cares now. Like he clearly cares. Yeah, and this is, I think it's called, it's either Washington. I think it's called Washington Cross, is the Delaware or something. Something. Yeah, he thinks he has much more importance than anybody. That's for sure. Mm. And he's like, "Oh, I like." Yeah, that was great. That was great. But he's being polite. He just you know is not down with it. But this is where, whoa, how did that turn sideways? Sorry, guys. I have no idea why that one's sideways. We'll skip that one. But anyway, the Croat is starting to talk about him winning the museum off of Christoph, and kind of question. He doesn't quite yet outright say anything, but he does say, "Oh, you won 26 matches in a row. How does that happen?" And Negan's like, "Well, it's just the biggest guy wins, and his walker's the biggest." Negan's clearly trying to avoid a fight here. Um, and I think that anybody who's watching this kind of knows that it's probably brewing and something's going to go down pretty soon. Yeah, shut them up. Yeah, basically, yeah, yeah. And for now, he kind of calms it down. They sort of move on until they hit dinner later, where they get to see the fight. Um, yeah, we'll talk. I have some things to say about the walkers fighting, but I'll wait till we get further. So there he is. He's like, "Oh, you won." Okay, so now we have this scene, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think it was 2 episodes ago, maybe. How Herschel doesn't necessarily want the world to be back the way it was because he did not grow up in that world. He grew up in the apocalypse. And they have this conversation about the things they miss, although it is kind of a cute conversation that puts it in perspective. He's like, oh, at school, I think it was at school. My brother used to pull the fire alarm. And he goes, what's a fire alarm? That was cute. Um, but yeah, they start talking about their favorite food before the apocalypse and everything, and he just sort of sits there and doesn't say a whole lot. And Maggie tells a story about Glenn getting her a candy bar for her birthday. But yeah, yeah, breaking off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Yeah, 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 and that's why it's kind of sad. Like Herschel hasn't seen any of that, so he doesn't know. It says that's what they're doing now for resources. Yeah, for resources and power. Like, why is this better? Or why is this isn't making it better, I guess is more what he's saying. Like all it's doing is making people fight. And he's like, I'm gonna go look for blackberries. Was pretty yeah. Um, but yeah, I think that he would, I'm sure, like the old world, but he just doesn't know anything about it to know to yes. Yeah, I kind of wonder too, and I had asked the actors about this, and they kind of just talked about how it's important to all their characters. But I kind of question, like, if they wouldn't be better if they didn't try so hard because he's right with I mean he's 100% accurate with what he says. Like they're trying so hard and all they're doing is making more problems and more fighting and everything else. And if people just like learn to, I guess, live with things the way they are instead of trying so hard to bring it back, that maybe things would be better. It's an interesting thought anyway. Yeah. I mean, it's obvious they say it's for their kids, but they don't really stop to think. Their kids don't know what it means, so it's not really for them. All right, so then we get back to this scene. I know it does, and I'm guessing that has to be on purpose the way they have it set up. But that looks really yeah, yeah. You're right. Yeah, he thinks he is anyway. But they are having this lavish fancy dinner of rat. And that's what I had mentioned when I mentioned before, about she has a pet rat and she's clearly not down with it, which is why she doesn't eat any of it, the Dama. Because raccoon, yeah. But I think yeah. But I think that it's supposed to be obviously that she's not going to eat a rat because she has a pet rat. At least that's how I took it. They don't really say that, but I don't know. Right. Yeah, I guess she didn't that much, but I don't the fact that they show her rat at the end of the episode and the fact that, like I said, he was feeding rats to that thing before, it makes me think it's connected. Yeah, yeah, but he was using it for food. Exactly. Yeah, that made it a little more creepy, but I don't know. I kind of assumed she was put off because of that, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just thought about her might be. Yeah, she's just trying to get him to agree to the deal, and that's all she cares about. But this is where he wait, hold on. Um, I don't know if I skipped a scene. Trying to see. I think in between this might have been the scene with Jenny and Navarez. Either that or it's after, and I mixed it up. I'm trying to scan to see. No, it's after. I guess there's a little bit of the scene first. It must be before them. Um, but yeah, this is the beginning of their dinner. It must be before, basically before the toast and the fight, because well, I guess there is a fight going on, but the whole conversation doesn't happen till after. It must not, because otherwise the other scene wouldn't be in between it. Yeah, because he does start making fun of or Bruegel starts making fun of Croat's accent at one point here to piss him off a bit. That's why it's called the Croat, not the Serbian, right? Yeah, there's the rat. Yeah, I think that's what this whole okay. See, I don't know. I must have somehow got some of this out of order because I believe this is where he's telling Negan that he how he knows the Dharma. That yeah, it was, which is that he knew her as a reviewer of plays and things, and she was really, well known as this great reviewer until she bit one of the playwrights. Well, and I feel like as he said this, I'm thinking, kid, you need to like dial back that story just a bit. Yeah, Negan was liking it though. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of wondered too, because the way he said it, I forget exactly the wording he used, but I kind of wondered if it was kind of to, yeah, because it sounded like she was a reviewer that was not very nice in her reviews. Like she sounded like a scathing review. Yeah. So I definitely, think yeah, definitely might have been, but at any rate, she bit him. Yep, she bit him. And then this is also where she, you know, but she can tell Negan's enjoying this more than she wants him to, and that's when she says about, "Oh, hey, let me see that drawing. That was done by Herschel." So let yeah, but she's like, "Oh, I knew it all along. I knew it. He's here." And then she says about he sent the smoke signal, and of course Negan's like, "Shit, I didn't know that." So yeah, that's not what he had planned, I guess. So yeah, he kind of forgets it quickly. I think the Okay, wait. This is where they talk about, sorry, this is where they talk about kids. And he talks about how he wanted to go, would like to go home to his children, but he knows they're safe with him, with what he's fighting for. And this is where they talk more about, is it the old world for them or for the kids? Yeah, this is where yeah, I think we jumped the gun a little bit there, which is why. But yeah, he's like, oh, having kids is the hardest thing, and yeah, and he sees she keeps looking at Herschel too. Not that that necessarily means anything, but she's like paying attention. And yeah, yeah, we have Navarez and Ginny, where she has caught Ginny that she took the gun. And whenever she says that, oh, I'm going to kill the man who killed my father, she talks about meeting that Governor Byrd who vouched for her when she got there, and like that she looked up to her and that she took her words to heart when she said that no crime can go without retribution. So she basically gives her permission to go and kill the man who killed her father. But then before and we don't see her response, she kind of just doesn't answer her. But she said, "Is this guy Negan?" And since she doesn't say, "Oh no, I don't know who that is," it's kind of obvious that yeah, that is who it is, and now she has an inkling that he may not be dead or is likely not dead. Which yes, yes, most definitely. She's gonna be having problems with him. So then about the fight, this is where Bruegel talks about his bodyguard Tony, who's served him so well, and he's like, I'll serve you Dama, and do what you want, and we can be this great alliance. But big but if we do this, I think that we should build another methane plant in my museum. So I have all the electricity. I mean, he doesn't say it, but basically, so I get the electricity too, and I get a piece of everything. And I'm, just as important in that case. Like he's trying to, get on their level. And if the Croat is the only one that knows how to use the methane or make the methane from the walkers, then would be a big thing, him sharing that. And of course, he's like, no way in hell. And he starts freaking out because the Dama won't tell him no. And he just flat out is like, no, 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 this is not going to happen. And then he starts accusing him of cheating outright because he's like, no, he may not have. That's a good point. Oh, he definitely knows that. Yeah. Probably. Yeah, that's a good point. That's interesting. I had not thought. Yeah, I think he probably knows it now, but the Croat's like, no, this is not going to happen. We're not giving it to you. And he basically doesn't listen to the Doma at all to what she's, because she's getting upset, more and more upset. But yeah, he starts saying, oh, there's no way you won this many fights. Let's check the walkers. I'm sure you injected them. I can prove it. Da 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 da. Da. And he even at one point sort of tries to bring Negan into a little bit because he says something like, I forget exactly what he says, but he says something like about that Negan said it's like Frankenstein's monster, I think is what he quoted. Which Negan did not say that he was cheating at all, but he's sort of bringing him a little bit. And he's like, but if you do our deal, I don't have to tell the other people. You just have to, do what we say. And then he's like, Bruegel, which I think is really funny, is Bruegel clearly does not care about it as much as he thinks. He's been overestimating how much he wants that methane. And he's like, I think it's time for you to leave, basically, is what he says, which means deals off. So Negan, ever the resourceful person who has to do something about it, is like, hey, whoops. He's like, hey, we can fix this. I get you're pissed off that he just, accused you of that. I'd be too. And he's like, well, let's make a deal. I'm going to pick a walker, any walker I want. And if I win, my walker wins, you join with no addendums. If you win, then you get the methane. And of course, he's all for this because he thinks he's going to win. And the Dom is okay with it because I'm guessing that she probably would give him the methane if he asked, just because she thinks they really need them. Um, so, yeah. And then we go back. Whoops. We go back to Maggie and Herschel again, and they're talking about that Firefly story again that we heard about before. And I guess the point is she's trying to see if what she remembers influenced what he remembers, I guess, like if she remembers it correctly. And she's asking him, what exactly happened that day. And it's like her memory, except he tells her that like he knew she was sad and that he got the Firefly for that reason to make her to cheer her up. Um, mhm. Yeah, yeah. Which is understandable. Yeah. She probably, as a mother, was trying to shield him from that and didn't realize that he knew how upset he was. And yeah, obviously she was still upset. So that's what that conversation is. And then we go to, okay, she sees from the rooftop, they see that Negan's down there grabbing a walker and taking, which I guess is oil. I thought it was a gasoline can. That's why I couldn't figure out at first, but I guess it's No, because it's what he pours on the walker after that makes it all slippy. So I don't. Well, I guess it because gasoline isn't really slippy, is it? I guess it could be gasoline. I assumed it was oil. So that's what I'm assuming. I guess they didn't actually say it. Hey, Debbie, thanks for coming. My chat's actually working. I like my pop-ups. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, kind of like, what is he doing? He's trying to figure it out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm just sorry, I was smiling because I saw the little emoji went flew across the screen. My emoji won't working. Thanks, Debbie. But yes, I agree. I would have liked to see a little bit of that trauma, but sometimes I wonder, and I could be wrong, but I mean, I know they're all AMC and they're all Walking Dead, but I kind of wonder if like they're sort of under a different umbrella because they're a different show. And I kind of wonder if every time they use a clip from the original show, they're paying like some money. And maybe that's why they're trying not to, because it does seem like a really, really opportune time. And not that they haven't done it before, but they don't do it a lot. So yeah, I agree. And I kind of in a way wish that she had when she saw him later, I think he's still carrying the bat, isn't he? That she had outright reacted to it, but she doesn't say anything about it. So yeah. 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 No, I agree. No, I agree with you. But that's just basically so we can see them that he's getting the oil or whatever it is that makes it slippy. And then they sneak into the museum. Now, I missed when I watched this the first time, I didn't realize, and I don't know how I missed it, but that Herschel's the one that sets the fire. I didn't realize. Well, I thought Herschel did, but he says right here in this scene that all they say something about a fiery distraction to get. Well, I think so. I have it in my notes, so I'm guessing they must have. I don't. I'm like thinking back to watching it an hour ago. I don't. I don't remember hearing it, but I wrote it. So. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm guessing though, maybe then I just thought that when I rewatched it. I think that is the distraction. I think the fire was because I had thought it was Negan that did it and didn't really think anything of it. But when I was watching it tonight, I kind of I think that was his distraction. Yeah, that's all mistakes. Yeah, yeah, so, yeah. I would say it's sloppy writing, but yeah, you're right. It's kind of a yeah. Um, Oh, you think I see, I didn't think I thought Negan did it if before. I never thought the Croat did it, but I guess he did too. That's interesting. Yeah, he wanted to piss him off. Yeah, well, it doesn't outright say, so I guess it could be any of them. But if you guys that are watching this, let us know in the comments, excuse me, or in the chat what you think, who you think started the fire. Um, we're probably never gonna find out. It is, although it looks like the painting is kind of in the main room. Um, yeah, and I guess, like, we see that painting and we recognize, like, it's a hugely, popular painting that I mean, I remember studying that painting in art history, but he would have no reason to know that, so yeah, that's a good point. I tend to right, yeah, that's I guess. Well, the thing is I think that the burning of the painting served its purpose, so I don't know that it's gonna show it again. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know that we're gonna find anything out about it. But either way, he's gonna create a distraction as they go in, and then this is where I think this is where Negan's picking out his stuff to use, and then they come in and tell him, "Oh no, it's on fire." I have to say these paintings are so important to him, but he puts them near an open flame. Is this? Do you not think like that was not a smart move to begin with? I mean, they technically could probably get away with saying, "No, we didn't do it." Like, I mean, you put him near an open flame, you're kind of risking that. So yeah, it was very easy to just tip one over, regardless of who did it. But obviously, he's like, "No, not that painting," and gets all upset. And this is where the Dama says to him, I forget exactly what she says. I thought I wrote down what she says. She basically it seems like to me thinks he did it and said something like don't go too far. That was how I took that scene, and that's why I thought Negan did it. But maybe you didn't take that conversation that way. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I just assumed right away that he did it, and I didn't really think much more about it. But he sneaks off to go to the bathroom because he hears Maggie whistling. His whistle. Yes, which was I think supposed to be Herschel, which is what leads me to believe Herschel's the one that did it. Although why the door would have still been open, he had to have ran away a while ago, unless he wanted her to know he was there. That was a little confusing. Why? Right, but I question like why did the door just shut now? Whoever had set the fire was long gone. I think. Probably. But somebody laughed. I was gonna say, "Hey, Muncher, Luncher, thank you. What sci-fi sci-fi visibility?" Yes, it's sci-fi visibility. Good. That's a good word. I'll have to figure out a place to use that. But anyway, so Maggie has done the whistle to get him, and I do like that she whistled like that. It was a little bit of a throwback. Did we need it? No, but I kind of liked it. That how she called. And whoops, I'm pressing the wrong. I would have thought they all would have heard it, but maybe didn't know what it meant. But yeah, the Croat should have known what it meant if he heard it. But I think he was busy being happy that the painting was burning. So he wasn't paying a lot of attention. But Maggie comes out and he comes out and he's like, "You came back. Why?" And I love, she's like, "Not for you." It's like, yeah, thank and he's like, "Well, no, you're the one who got me captured." She's like, "You're not, it's not like you're in prison or whatever. You're walking around doing what you want, and they're not doing anything to you." Which she doesn't know that he's under threat and they're threatening his family and that she doesn't at this point know it. But yeah, I don't see it though. Does he have it? It doesn't show him. That's what I thought. He must be holding it down. So at least he's trying to appear non-threatening. But yes, I agree. He should say something about this is only for show. Or have one of them comment. But yeah, I haven't killed anybody with it again. Maybe he's afraid to say that because he's afraid that might change. yeah, that would have been a way to say, it. Sorry, this isn't for you. I have to keep up appearances or something. But he sees that Pearlie's up there and he's like, oh, so you're working with them now. And she's like, she gets Pearlie to go away and talks to them on her own. And she's like, no, I want the methane because I want them to basically, she says, I want them to get the hell out of here and leave us alone. And the only way that's going to happen is if New Babylon gets their damn methane. And he's like, I can't help you because it'll put other people in danger. And she realizes he means his family. And for some reason, he tells her anyway. Were you surprised that he gave her the address? I was. St. Patrick's Cathedral. He also here tells her to not trust Herschel because he knows that somehow the Dharma is I think he says something like God is her claws into him or something. And of course she won't listen, but we discussed before that she seemed to realize he set the smoke alarm, the smoked things. Yeah. She just doesn't want to believe it exactly. Right. And then we're gonna have okay, so then we go to the next. Sorry, I gotta scroll this here. Okay, so then we go to Herschel, who meets with the Dharma, and we don't get to see their conversation, unfortunately. But we know they talked. She does say something, I think, like that he came about him coming back, but it's not really anything that really helps us know anything. So then we go back to the fight. Now, this is where Negan pours oil on the walker, so he's slippery, and he kind of makes a distraction because he sees Maggie sneaking by. And Maggie does also see the Dharma and realizes it's Herschel's drawing, I think. And yes, when she doesn't do anything, she lets her go. So Negan didn't have to fake distract. I have to question if she knew Negan knew it, though. I feel like she probably did. Um, I don't know. I mean, she doesn't mention it to him, so it's hard to tell. But I kind of go, yeah, it was kind of both. Now let me ask you. I I guess I had figured out what they were doing way early on, but didn't realize it. We talk about this show sometimes it's writing. I assumed that they just did not give the person playing the walker the best directions. I felt from the very beginning of the show that this person did not act like a walker because why were they like we talked about why is a walker killing each other? Why are they attacking them? And like he would keep going after them and keep stabbing them in the head. And it's like why would a walker do that? Walkers eat humans. Because I know this Karen really complained about this a lot on our show. She hated this. She's like, no, it doesn't make sense. And I remember thinking then he didn't act like a walker. And I guess, right, right. But I feel like a walker is supposed to not, I don't want to say not have brains. Clearly, they still have their brains or they wouldn't be a walker. But they don't know how to do things. Most of them. Now we know there's some smarter walkers that showed up in the other show, and that's neither here nor there. But generally, like the walkers can't open doors, they can't think, they can't do anything. You're right. They would keep going after the meat, but the fact that every time it killed somebody, like it would know to stab them in the head, and that to me seemed a little weird. And I just assumed it was bad acting on that actor's part. But I think that they did that. I'm hoping, but again, with the show, you don't know. It may have just been, been that. But I'm hoping that that was kind of a direction so you maybe were clued into it. So I feel like I sort of knew it, but didn't know that I knew it because I was thinking back then, this guy doesn't seem like a walker, and he didn't. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of my point. Like, wouldn't they just go until all the meat was eaten off their heads? Like, why would they keep going until one was completely dead? Like, they wouldn't know to do that. But I think that that is partially a writing problem. I do think that maybe the actor was told to not act quite like a walker. That could be the case. But it's still a problem from a story point of view because obviously they are having normally before he started doing this, they were having real walkers fight each other supposedly, and I still find a problem with that. So of them throwing the meat, no, I just have him pouring the stuff. Yeah, 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 yeah. It does. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, like, they would maybe try to eat the meat, but would they fight to the death? I don't think they have a reason to. But I do think they did one smart thing, though, that I didn't get clued into and should have realized. I do think that actually the beginning of the episode was a hint because walkers don't eat rats, and he threw him a rat, and I never anything of it. And now that I'm thinking this, I'm like, wow, they did something that was maybe good writing at that point. Just a little bit right there. So I have to give them props for that. They alerted us to it, and it was a way that was subtle. And Walking Dead is usually not subtle. So I appreciate the subtlety. Oh, that did they? I was gonna say they did eat a horse, so maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Well, then they inadvertently made it look like I'm giving them too much credit. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but it still could have been a clue, but either way, if it was good. If it wasn't, it should have been. Um, yeah, but he pours stuff on him, and then basically the other walker can't, or the human can't grab a hold of him. He keeps slipping, and then he poured it on his. Yeah, was my understanding. Yeah. No, I think he just poured it on his so he couldn't grab him. And so he jumps in the ring, and again, is this partially because of Maggie? I don't know. But whenever he grabs the walker, I think it was supposed to be that he was hearing him breathing. That was how I took it. Like you could hear the guy like freaking out. Did he? Okay, because I wasn't sure what he was supposed to be seeing, but I knew you could hear it, so I thought maybe that was it. He saw his eyes move. Okay, I missed that. Okay, I missed the eyes. Okay, cool. I missed that part, but I my eyesight isn't what it used to be, so I probably but that's cool, yeah, yeah, which wouldn't happen if they're a walker, it'd be dead eyes. But either way, especially if they were reusing the same walker, he'd be really decomposed. But either way, Negan is smart and figures it out. And he's like, oh, so that's how he's been winning. So he jumps back out because he basically sort of cheated. And because they weren't allowed to touch him, he pushes him to the other walker and he's like, okay, you win. But and he goes over and whispers to him, and we know what he's telling him. He's saying, hey, I know what you did. You used a human. I won't say anything as long as you take the deal. At least that's what I'm assuming that conversation, how it went. Okay, to me, it looked like he shoved him a bit. It was hard to tell, but oh, okay. You mean the fake walker went after the walker. Yeah, all right, got it. Got it. So anyway, he tells Burgle he knows, and he's like, whoa, we won, but we're good sports. So you know what? We're just going to take the deal the way you offered it and not take what we won. And none of them question this. Like, why would he all of a sudden do that? It's a very strange move. She's got a what the fuck face because she knows Negan did something. She just doesn't know what. So either way, he came up with a smart plan. So then yeah, they're waiting for Herschel up on the rooftop and I don't think anything is really said in this scene. Trying to yeah. And there he is. He comes back and she kind of I think wants to say something about what happened and is he on her side, but she can't really. And she just sort of, yeah, tries to talk to him so he knows she still cares about him and hopefully won't do anything. But she doesn't believe or is not willing to believe that he's on the wrong side or anything. So she does know he's saying the smoke signal. So I'm sure she's questioning it at this point. Yeah. Yeah. Which is sad. Yeah. 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 I have I have to wonder though, like, I don't know overall how I feel about that. Like, we know that she sort of maybe brainwashed him, but at this point, I feel like it was more she talked to him and said things he wanted to hear, and his mother wouldn't listen to him. So he listened to her. It doesn't seem as much like brainwashing as I expected it to be, I guess, which I kind of have a problem with. Like, why would he listen to her? I don't know. I mean, if it is because of the, because he feels more comfortable around her, then that kind of makes it Maggie's fault a little bit. And I don't know that I like that. So yeah, I really want to know exactly what happened. Like, and yeah, I think so. I do too. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I just question that you would hop on board with the person who's clearly on the other side from the fight that your mother is fighting. And yes, he cares that she's safe, but like he doesn't seem to care about all the other people that are with them. And I would think that if you had a moral compass, that you would be like, this lady's bad, and you would figure that out. He's old enough at this point that he should have, I think, been like, wait, this is wrong, but he seems to be missing that a little bit. And yeah, I don't like that part because I'm not sure exactly, unless I'm missing something. It doesn't seem like she completely brainwashed him, which is what I thought at the beginning of the season they were going with, but they don't make it seem like that. I mean, yes, she did, in the sense that she got him to, like you said, he feels that that she feels the same way he does, and she understands him and he has someone to talk to. But that's still not a reason to flip over the bad side, you know? Yeah. 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 Yeah, I agree. Mhm. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know if she's necessarily, has she tried to brainwash them against Maggie though, or just tried to be more subtly brainwash them against what they're fighting for, maybe? Which which makes slightly more sense, I guess, but I still have problems with him. Like, he has to know at this point that she's not the good guy. Unless she truly brainwashed him or tortured him, yeah, it's a plot hole big time for me. But maybe we'll find something else happened we didn't know about, and maybe. All right, so they still got Pierce in the trunk, which I'm sure you know, right? Well, they've still got Pierce in the trunk. I don't think the Dama is any happier with him after he told that story. So, because he's like, we're gonna find a more permanent place for you. I don't know if that was more of a threat or was just a dumb thing that the crow had said, but at any rate, she's happy with, yeah, there's the music. She's happy with Negan. She lets him sit in the front of the car and relegates the crotch to the back seat or driving or whatever, I forget, wherever Negan used to sit. So she's clearly Negan's her favorite right now, and that is not good news for the Croat. He's falling out of favor and is jealous. And then we go back. He's definitely jealous. And then we go, well, sometimes he has such a weird, creepy relationship with the Dama that I don't even understand half the time. So she does. I guess, yeah. I just sometimes question if it's supposed to be some weird sexual thing or not, and I don't know, but it's weird. Maybe. Either way, it's creepy. Right. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So, Bruegel realizes he's been, he's done. He's been found out. And he comes over to the walker. And this is where you find out that the walker is actually that ex bodyguard Tony he talked about, that he's got chained up eating rats, somehow is getting him to fight for him, I guess, probably by threatening him. Um, yeah, and then he slits his throat. At least he doesn't drag it out. I mean, he did just kill him. He didn't. Yeah. The guy never talks though. I kind of wondered if maybe he cut his tongue out or something, but oh, he did. I was thinking he didn't. Okay, he must have just said one thing at the end then. Okay. Okay. Well, he hasn't right, but he hasn't chained there eating rats, so I don't think he's probably a little nutty at this point. But either way, his throat. Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking. He slits his throat. There's a shit bucket, I guess. Uh, but yeah, he's like, I guess that's the end of it. But I've learned, I've gained a tip. He's like, I've learned something. I don't know what it is that he's gonna use, but yeah, he has an idea. I think I got the maybe. What do you think he said? Yeah, well, I think that he said something to that effect, definitely to get him to agree. But there could be something more. Well, that's what I meant, yeah, but there may be more to it, I don't know. But he does say yeah, he figured something out, and he's like, "It's not over," is basically what he says, "Not out of movie." And I think that then he looks out, and then, yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and then Negan looks at the rat in the maze. Excuse me. So, probably. But I don't remember what the preview was to be honest, but they bookended it because it started off with the other rat. Um, yeah, I mean we can talk a little bit about next week, I guess, without getting into too heavy spoiler territory. I honestly don't remember what the preview showed. I've seen ahead, so it's hard for me to remember specifically without going too far ahead. But yeah, if you have something you want to say about the preview, that's fine. Yeah, I could see that. Mhm, interesting. Yeah, yeah, he's not thinking before he's acting, that's mm, yeah. Mhm. Yep. And the funny thing is Negan tried to get him to see that, and granted, I know he did it to pit them against each other, but he was like, "Why do you let her treat you like that?" And he didn't see it. He clearly did. Maybe. Mm, mm. This mm, yeah. Yeah, I definitely don't think he's doing anything on purpose, though. I think he just doesn't think, and he's not real smart. He is. I'm thinking we're talking about this, I'm thinking of Ellie, and because I've been having these conversations with people. Yeah, I definitely think that he doesn't think before he speaks and before he does things. I think it's gonna end up to his detriment. Yeah, perhaps. Well, we're halfway through, so yeah, yeah. Yeah, the other ones, I don't think anything is gonna happen to. I mean, they kind of have plot armor, the main people anyway. I think for right now, I think Bruegel is safe because they need him, so they're not gonna go after him. He might. He's because he's like a known actor too, and his character is really good too. I enjoy him. His yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe he'll take over or something. No, I agree. It's yeah. I feel like her character is only interesting in I want to know what happened between her and Herschel. That's like the only one I'm really interested to find out. Yeah. Yeah. She got a wake up call and she didn't heed it. That's for sure. I think that I know we're going off topic, but I think that she didn't know what to do. I think that she didn't know how. I think maybe if she thought she could save it, she would have tried, but I think she was just kind of in shock and didn't know. I know, but it's gotta be not that easy to, like, cut open a person, especially when the person she's in love with is pregnant, currently, and she's probably thinking about her baby. That's what I think. What do you think? Oh, I definitely think she should have tried. That's why I think she didn't try. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, she definitely does. It's a cliffhanger. That's it. Yeah, it's quite a cliffhanger, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, yeah, I'm curious how it's gonna go next season too. I mean, I still like it and I'll still watch it, but I don't know. I don't want a whole season of Abby, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. Yeah, she is. Yeah. She, as we said, like Croat does not think first. That was why. Yeah. Maybe the case. May- I hope maybe. Yeah, I have no clue. Yeah, don't know. I mean, obviously it's a flashback, so it could be just about anything, but yeah, but yeah, even I mean, I don't think it was from before. I think it would have to be a newly filmed scene. I don't think they'd use it for another show if they had. No. Yeah, so maybe it's Joshua or whatever is still gonna be pretty little though. I agree. I agree. They should have done more. Well, they may be gonna bring them more into the show though. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. But yeah, I don't want him to kill the his wife and baby, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. But you're right, they could end up doing something to him, and then maybe he'll be on a revenge cycle, right? I hope not, but I guess you never know. Yeah, God, I hope not. I don't wanna see that. If they bring the old Negan back, I think I'm done. I don't think I can keep watching. Yeah, I yeah, he flip-flopped a lot. Right. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, I've gotten they've, made me forgive him, I guess, enough that I can watch it. Like if they turn it back, I've said before, if they do that, I don't think I'm going to keep watching the show, but hopefully they won't. I do think season one was better though. I think this season has been, I don't want to say boring. Like I said, I enjoyed it, but it's kind of slow, and it's I think because they're not together. Like as much as I don't buy that Maggie would have trusted me again, they're good together. Like from an acting, watching them standpoint, they have a good. I hesitate to say chemistry because I don't want it to be the wrong way, but the actors have good chemistry, not the characters. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll see. Yeah, yeah. It's not. I just think the first one was a little more exciting. Yeah. Mhm. No, I agree. Yeah. I don't know, but I do feel like these 4 episodes probably could have taken place in 3, maybe. I think they had a lot of filler they didn't need, and it's strange because it's not even a long season, but I do feel like a lot of it's been filler. So, I get a certain right. Yeah. It just yeah, yeah. No, you definitely Yeah, like, it's good. Like I say, it's been good, but it's not anything great. It's not like, it could be better. That's yeah, they might. Yeah, I don't know if I was gonna say, I don't know if they've like, renewed it or anything. I think there was just the 1 season, they said. I don't know beyond that. I just I'm not sure where they can keep going unless they start a story about his family, which that would be okay. I could be okay with that. Um, but, like, I don't know. I didn't love the Dama as a villain even in season 1, and the fact that they've kept it that long, like, it's time to go, right? No. Yeah, no, I don't. Mm. Mm. Well, I mean, to be fair, the acting on the show, I think, is usually pretty good. It's usually more the writing that I take issue with on anything, so, yeah. Yeah, we're saying how can Herschel fall for it, but at the same time, she hasn't really done anything to make him scared, so maybe that's part of it. Alright, well, I don't think I have really anything else to say about the episode, unless you have something else to add, but yeah, maybe. That would be interesting, I could see that happening. Yeah, I like Virgo, I like yeah. See, the thing is I find if he wasn't sometimes he's a little too wimpy, and we know that the way he looks up to Negan, but I think sometimes the Croat would have been a better villain to continue with than the Dama, but I don't know, he's often too wimpy, so I don't know that it would have worked. It would have had to change him a bit. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. 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 Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. He's not strong enough. I mean, not strong enough as a character. I don't know because I'm not sure that helping Maggie was for him the right decision. I mean, like as a viewer, yeah, we want him to help Maggie, but like for his own personal choice, I don't know that I understand it. But I guess we'll wait and see. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I hope not. But yeah, I don't know. Alrighty. I think she's gonna probably try, yeah. I think that she knows and it's done. Either way, they're not gonna be friends. I don't think she's gonna accept that he lied. Yes. Um if we can get the slot on Sunday, I'm assuming that that is probably what's going to happen. I figured we'd put it out. But so yeah, no, I'm fine with it. I just know that you want it to stream it to yours and we're having issues. So that's up to you what you want to, since it's not working doing two YouTubes. But at any rate, for people watching, just make sure that you check Discord to know whether next week will be Sunday or the same time on Monday. But we will be one of those days. And yeah, one of those days. And meanwhile, make sure that you check out Lori's channel, Real Cinema Therapy. And please make sure you subscribe to her channel and also to Sci-Fi-Vision and check out all our other videos. Just put up Librarians interview and Murderbot, all that good stuff. Like I said earlier, please make sure you join us again tonight at midnight. I keep putting 11:59 because when you say midnight, it sometimes confuses people. 11:59 tonight for Midnight Murder Bot. We'll be having a watch party at 11. If we get enough people that haven't seen the other two episodes and you guys want to watch it, we could do that. But we'd have to do it pretty soon. So you have to let me know in Discord. But yeah, that's tonight. And then starting Thursday, of course, Thursday. Well, first we have, I should go in order, I guess. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern is our roundup show where we have Doctor Who, Surreal Estate, and I'm not sure what else, some other stuff, whatever else we enjoy during the week will be on Tuesday. And then Thursday at 8 p.m., we have our review and breakdown of the season finale of Last of Us. And then at 11 o'clock, Scarlett and I will have our first episode of our show for the Librarians, the next chapter. And we'll probably do some kind of watch party. So yeah, just look out for all that in Discord and check out, yeah, all the other stuff on the channel. And I guess that's it. Well, yep. See you guys next week. Bye bye. Good night.